Previously on Mike's Garage Shop, we got in a 1995 Honda Quad that didn't run. Getting through a wiring mess, we found the problem to be the starting solenoid. Let's pick up where we left off. We're not getting any battery voltage through this, so that is pointing me in the direction that this starting solenoid is bad. What came in the mail? This was $7 or $8 from Amazon, delivered the next day. Made in China, of course, and it also says manufactured according to Japanese specifications. Tong Tong trade. I wonder if that hurts the Chinese feelings to print that on the box. Made to Japanese quality. That's alright. We're not on TikTok, so we won't get banned.
Dad, why does it have a motorcycle on it?
Yeah, motorcycle, quad, they're all the same. So, as always, when you get new parts, compare it to the part you took off. This one had the jacket stay on the quad. It looks pretty much the same. Cord length is a little bit shorter on the new one. Shouldn't be an issue though. Let's go throw it on. Remember, this was fed out the back. All right, so we got green with yellow tracer, which on this one it's like a green with a purple tracer. Either way, we're gonna match up male and female. And that connection feels pretty crummy. We're probably gonna wanna crimp that a little bit. That connection feels much, oh, does that feel better? That one feels pretty good. That one, we're gonna look at that a little bit. I'm starting to think if this is not the original wire for that, because that eye loop is pretty big. You know what? I want to route these wires behind this. Actually, they were up in here, weren't they? What if we go up in there? I think we're going to leave that alone and route this behind here. I think if we try to get it up in that hanger, it ain't gonna reach. It barely reaches coming behind this frame anyway, so. Might have to come back and revisit these eye holes. Eyelets? Eye holes? It's quite big for that bolt and nut, but let me get an impact with this 10 mil on it. Yeah? Something like that? We'll have to readjust that cable. Let's get the battery in here. Does the kitty like you? Let's see here. I think this cable is way too long for what we're trying to do here. I'm just trying to route it a little bit better so it's not hanging all over the place. Okay, you know, for testing, let's make sure this works. I'm gonna have to make a new cable. I don't think this is the correct cable.
How do you know to make a new cable?
I have to put new end pieces on it.
None of I have done it like that.
All right, should we try to fire it up?
Yeah.
Okay, key on, kill switch off. Nothing. Remember how we were getting 5 volts? I think it needs to be more than that. All right, guys, let's come back with our power probe here. And let's make sure that when we get 12 volts to this thing, that it does fire. So then we know we have a working starter solenoid and that our problem is further upstream of these wires. Because this would prove that that was bad. If we give this power and it closes and tries to run, this would prove that we did the right thing with replacing that starter solenoid. And also remember how we were getting 12 volts from the start button, which we can test that again and make sure. That means something further up. It's probably a bad connection further up. All right, let's try this. Yeah. See? So that proves that we have a good starting solenoid now. Well, and what it also tells us is that we're not getting enough voltage. So now if I hit the start button, see, that says 12.5 volts. I don't know if you can see that. Are we not getting a good connection here? Yeah, that feels super loose. Let me try to pinch that down. Oh, maybe that shorter cord length is a problem because it's pulling on this connection. Okay, that's in. That's in, let's give it a try. Yep. Okay, so we had a bad connection on these. We had to crimp that one down further. And now while we're here, let's see if we got spark. Can you see that? Yeah, we got spark too, baby. Let's put the spark plug in and see if it runs. All right. That spark plug hole does not look too gummy. I'm kind of tempted to drop some fuel down into this cylinder. Oh man, that's such a tight. Let me get a spark plug socket that fits this before we go too far and try to fit one on there. That feels right. Man, that's a tight fit in there. Can't get anything in there, Cece. It's a little faded, isn't it? Wow. Wow, they make that real nice.
And tight.
Goodness gracious, Caroline. How in the world? The frame is right here. Honda, what are you thinking, Honda? Huh? Huh? Let's see if we can get on there now. No.
Oh, we got that.
That purple socket I have is half inch. Where there is a will, there is a way. That's probably why it was left out to begin with. Because trying to thread that back in is a bear. Socket bottoming out. Oh my goodness. What a crappy design. My socket is bottoming out. Okay, it's an 18 millimeter. Let's see if I got a normal socket.
I hope you do.
Alright, yep, that one will go all the way.
What's going on?
Who in their right mind designed this garbage? Huh? You want to tell me, Honda? Honda quality?
I don't know.
Alright, universal joint. Attempt number 57.
Oh, Papa. Is this really number 57?
Alright, I think we've figured out the ticket.
Ooh. At least we won't have to sit here all day.
I know. These people at home watching us, you probably think we're a bunch of goofballs. Okay, we bottomed out. Let's see here. Yes, I believe that we are. Okay, I don't even know if we have any gas in here. Let's check inside the tank. I don't know how long this thing sat. Do you know where my flashlight went?
No.
We're gonna need one. Ooh. See those? Rusty. Okay, so I was trying to find where the tank feeds into the carburetor, and I can see, get you down here, that's the shutoff valve from the tank, and this is the hose to the carburetor. And so you can see that's not connected, but also, ooh, focus, there's a lot of crud in that end tube. So I think we're gonna have to end up taking the tank off and flushing it. But I really want to see if this thing runs. So what do you think about shooting some spray, some Magic Go Juice down here? See if we can get it to run. Think it's gonna start, Cece?
I hope so.
Okay, let's turn it on here. I'm gonna hold the throttle open.
Are you sure it's alright?
There we go. There we go.
Will the engine be okay with
Yeah, it'll be fine. You ready? It runs!
We did it!
Hold on. It'll run, baby. We just gotta clean that tank up. We're probably gonna have to clean the carburetor. Okay, so to clean the carburetor, we're gonna have to get to it and get it off, which is there, and then we gotta clean the rust out of the tank, which is there. In order to get to that, we have to take our plastic off, which the only way to do that is to take the handlebars off. So we got some layers to take off of this onion. Let's start with the handlebars. Okay, I think this top plastic just pops off. piece which we can pull out. Oh, what do those look like? 13 mil? 12 mil? My hope is we can just take these handlebars off and turn them to pull that plastic off. We don't have to unhook all these cables. All right, let's see how this goes. Could we do? Gotta come off. So this looks like a Phillips, but it's probably a posi drive, which is, I think it's the Japanese version of a Phillips. And sometimes what they'll do, and you can kind of see it on this one. Let's see if I can get you close. Nope. Sometimes they'll have a dot on them, and that will tell you that it's posi drive, which is, it looks like a Phillips, but it seems to be broader at the end. So I'm hoping I can just rock this plastic forward enough to where we don't have to take... Oh yeah! That'll work. I think we'll be able to get everything that way. Good! Oh, that's good. So the tank's got two 12mm bolts on the side. Is your tire broken? Yeah. Let me take a look. Now I think this tank is pulled out. Oh, it's just got a piece that clips in the front. So obviously the gas is shut off. Otherwise we'd be getting gas out of there. Let's turn that on, so we can pour that gas out, and that will also clear that port. Looks, I don't know if you can see that, it looks pretty dirty. Hopefully that'll clear that out if we can pour the gas out that way. It wants to come out. Just that clogged up. Try. What else? We try blowing some air up in here. Let me pump up the air tank. Let's try blowing some air in that that valve. See if we can get it cleared up. Okay, got some compressed air. I think that valve. Oh, don't pull on that, Max. Do I still have that valve open? I don't think so. All right, guys, back up. Papa doesn't want to spray you. Or maybe it was open. I think we want to. I think we want it that way. All right, close your eyes. Here, saw some air blow up the top. No? Alright, we're gonna have to look at taking this valve off. Looks like there's just a threaded connection there. Oh. That's full of crap. Okay, that's the filter. That's pretty. Oh. There's a O-ring there. It's actually not in bad shape. Alright, let's see if we can pour that gas out now. Well, let's give you another peek in here so you know what we're dealing with. There's like all those little rust spots. They're like little rust mountains. What do you think? Should we... I know electrolysis would be the best thing, but I really don't have anything set up to do that. I'm wondering if I can just fill that up full of vinegar and let that vinegar sit in there a while, because it's not really... It's kind of stayed around the bottom. If I can fill it up with enough vinegar, that I don't see much rust up on the sides. Yeah. The sides and I imagine the top might be good. If I can just get enough vinegar in here for that rust to sit in, I wonder if that would eat it up, and I think that's what I'm going to try. Okay, well I don't think we'll be reusing this filter. It's sucked in up here. If we get this cleaned out, we'll put an inline filter in, which I think we got some. Yeah, we got inline filters we can put on. So I'm not worried about that. As far as this, there's crumbs up in this dip tube, and let's get some carb spray. I'm starting to think if this tube is your reserve, must be. I'm not quite sure how that works. If someone can explain it in the comments. So this must be off. That's your reserve. Let's see if that... Yeah, maybe. And that's on. Oh wow. Oh, and there's a screen in there. But yeah, that was full of garbage. Okay, does that screen come out? Guessing it does. Nope, it doesn't. Well, that little strainer's broken now. So that is a screen that's supposed to come out, but it was stuck in there and now it's destroyed, but there is more junk inside of there. So we had to get that out. Pretty corroded in there. What? On a better thought, we'll get this as clean as possible, but I mean, this corrosion will probably break down and get into the lines. That's why we will put in an inline filter, just to make sure we catch all that before it gets to the car. But let's button this back together, and then we'll get some vinegar in that tank. Yeah, see, all this stuff is just flaking up. We'll get this cleaned up good, get some vinegar in the tank, and then we'll move on to the carburetor. One last thing before we dump vinegar in here. I was able to reach down in here with a needle nose and knock some of those mounds off of rust. And look at that. Oh, too far. That was the start of pitting. You can see all the pits there of all those little mountaintops we saw of rust. So, I don't think this tank is long for life, but we'll put vinegar in here, let it sit, dump it all out, fill it up with fresh gas, and I think our inline gas filter is going to take care of the rest. All right, got some high-powered vinegar here. Let's see if we can get this in there without spilling it all over the place. There. Let's let that sit. Okay, back to the quad we go. Let's take this off. That came from our sock air filter. Doesn't look too bad on the intake side of that. These are just your drain, and I imagine that's an overflow. That kitty cat wants attention, don't you think? Can we take it off with that throttle cable still attached? Yeah, we can. Okay. Let's take off this cover here. Can you see what's going on? This is our throttle cable. Remember me talking earlier about the posi drive. You can see the dot on the top of that screw there. That means it is the Japanese posi drive Phillips, which if you find yourself working on these and you keep stripping out Phillips heads, just do an Amazon search for posi drive screwdrivers and they will not strip out on you anymore. I've never been in one of these carburetors before, so now if we just unthread this. You want these numbers? There, let's take it to the bench. All right. It must be that's your choke there. It said I don't see any corrosion in here. But if you can see inside that jet, I do see some crummies in there. Some crumbs. So let's get this all apart before we start shooting carb spray all over. What do you think that is? You give it gas. How about we start with the bowl? Let's take the bowl off. Yeah, I didn't learn about posi drive until probably watching YouTube videos is when I found out that the Japanese made their own special Phillips. And I think these pair I got from Amazon. They don't have a brand on them. I'm sure some of your better tool companies, your name brands, make them. Speaking of name brands, I have found for best quality and price has been Gear Wrench. I would not mind if every tool I owned came from Gear Wrench. I think they make great stuff and it's reasonably priced. And I have returned stuff to Gear Wrench before. I've rounded out some wrenches and I think I just sent them a picture of it. If this is gonna come off with that right there. Not quite sure what. That's an adjustment. Oh, I think that's your idle adjustment. See how that adjusts the plate on this where your throttle stops? Looks like it's. Okay, big reveal. Big reveal. Man, can we not open this up with that in the way? Yes, we can. What's the bottom of the bowl look like? Not bad. There's some crumbs down in there. I keep saying crumbs. Is that gonna be my word? Crumbs. Yeah, it looks like we can take that off. Not bad. Not bad at all. This might be an easy clean. I just wanna clean out the bowl, get up in here, probably take these jets out, spray them all out. Looks like a lot of that stuff did not get in here. What do you think? 13 millimeter? 14 millimeter? Sometimes these jets, if you can't get them to break free, don't go too hard, because you'll break them. See those little tiny holes? Let's give this guy a spray. I like to hold it up to the light to see if I can see light through them. And I can, so that one's good. That's a good clean jet. Before we push that one back in, let's shoot some juice down in that one. What's next? This guy? Take him off. That might be a jet that might be your main jet. And I'm wondering if these come in different orifice sizes for different altitudes and sea levels maybe. Whoa. Did I get some on you? Spraying all these jets off to the side so I don't ruin my $1 million camera that I use. It's not $1 million. If it hurts the human eye, it's definitely not good for a camera eye. Oh yeah, so gear wrench. I love gear wrench. I think they make an awesome tool. As far as wrenches, like hand wrenches, these ones right here, these are Wright tools. These are made in America. Look at the I wish I could show you the width of this beam. These are heavy wrenches. These are the wrenches that my son will get when I die. And they have their, I don't know, anti-rounding stuff. Anti-rounding serrations. That's the one thing I have against gear wrenches is that the beam is so slim that if you're really reaping on things, it feels like it cuts into your hand, and I'm not a fan of that. Okay. You don't see, it looks pretty good. Put it down there. Spray it up. I'm just gonna spray it right in there. I'll get you guys. Okay, now let's get it on this hole. Okay, really close. I don't know what is this guy. I don't think that's a jet. Some sort of adjustment. Maybe that's your idle screw there. Let's go. There's one turn. There's 1.5 turn. Let's keep that in mind when we fire this thing up, which makes me think this is our fuel line coming in from the tank. We can assemble this and put on a temporary tank so we don't bury this under the fuel tank, and we can make our adjustments to it if we need to. But I don't think, hey kitty cat, I don't think there's much else I want to go deeper on this. We sprayed out the jets, cleaned out the bowl. That's just from manufacturing. I don't think there's anything more. I want to go deeper on this. Pretty happy with that. All right, before we get carried away, there we go. Not too bad. Put the plastic cover on that. Once we get the carburetor mounted and in position, then we'll tighten up that lock screw there. As I'm filming this, it's the ice storm of 2023, which so far has been pretty disappointing. Disappointing that we still have power. There's something about a guy, when he gets a generator that can run his whole house, and maybe it's just me, he wishes for the power to go out so he can run his dang generator and live off the grid. Oh, see what I just did there? I'm getting too greedy with my posi drives. Okay, that's it. Sit down there. Loosen it a little more. Now while our gas tank is soaking, I figured we'd get a temporary gas tank, hook it up to our carburetor there. And we can see if we can get this thing running. Okay, in the shop I have this little mini funnel with this hose. I wonder if that's gonna, oh yeah. That'll fit down there nicely. Oh, this is almost made for this. Let me zip tie this on this plastic here. We'll fill that too, guys. And then we'll fill our Alright guys, we proved that's gonna run. We got the tank soaking in vinegar. There's still some weird connection issues with that starter. We'll have to look at that. make sure, I'm thinking those connections aren't crimped enough to fit tightly, because it would go sometimes, it wouldn't go sometimes, but let's let the tank sit in vinegar. Hopefully we eat up most of that rust. Like I said, we'll put an inline fuel filter if there's enough room in there. If not, maybe let's do a quick Google search, see if we can find a filter to go back in that tank, because the one that we have is absolutely crummy. So, well, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out in the shop. If you like what you're doing, hanging out with me, subscribe, consider hitting the like button, and we'll see you on the next video, guys.